then now 13 years later, that was when I was 20, I'm now 33. So 13 years on, and this is why I'm going to diverge from where I was at previously, is how has that been since? What have been the struggles and challenges of following Christ? And I say, I've got lots of them. It's just going to be a bit disordered, but pride is one of them. Humans are naturally proud. I am naturally a proud person. And yeah, you think, oh, I'm right, I'm being mistreated. People are giving me a harsh deal. This is wrong. I deserve better. Why aren't they doing it? And I used to get vexed with other Christians. You know, when Christians do it to you as well, you expect better. Why are they doing this? So it happened to me. We were going through. I was having Bible study every week, going through the Bible, and we were reading 1 Peter. And then we got to 1 Peter 5, and in 1 Peter 5 it said, I was working with some Christians at the time, and I felt one of them was really doing my nut. He was like, I thought he was restricting me deliberately. He had a chip on his shoulder against people from posh schools and whatnot. So I thought he was restricting me. And then we got to this bit, and it said, these were to Christians who are being persecuted. It said, humble yourself under the mighty hand of God, casting all your cares upon him, because he will lift you up in due time. And for me, as we talked about that and about these persecuted Christians, they were saying, don't get angry with the Romans or whoever was giving you grief, the Jews. You've got to see that ultimately God is in control of that. And ultimately, if you're getting angry with your situation, however, and for them, that's harder to hear than my little situation that I was getting angry about. They were being persecuted. And he said, ultimately, you've got to recognize that God is in control. It's under his hand. And humble yourself under his hand. He does care for you. He will sort you out. He will look after you. And that just brought me so much relief. And for many years afterwards, really, in different situations, to know that God is in control of, even if someone's guys can swear at me, I get kicked out of my job on some false pretext, whatever, God is in control and he loves me. I can give my cares to him, and I just don't need to get angry about it. I don't need to try and fix it, myself. And that brought me, that was a great help as I struggled with that. Like I said, I struggled with Christians in the church for quite a while. Lots of different things we were talking about. They can seem judgmental, like they seem to not really care, that they don't go out and tell people that they don't have any Christian friends, and they don't go and tell people the gospel. They don't seem to be bothered about that. And yet, you're smoking, what are you doing? What's that? But sorry, wasn't Jesus' last command, go and make disciples? And you're ignoring that when you haven't heard me for it. What's going on? So you get things like that, all sorts of different things, problems you can get with a church. And believe me, there's a stack of them. If you've been in a church for a while, you'll know. But for me, one of the things over the years that's really helped me is reading the New Testament. You read the New Testament. Tell me what kind of churches you get in the New Testament. Are they together? Are they sorted? So you tell me. If you've read it, you know that they've got blokes going to prostitutes regularly. They've got people in the congregation sleeping with their own stepmothers, and you're just like, what? And someone has to know, you've got to kick him out, or you got people being really proud and divisive. He says, look at 3 chapters in 1 Corinthians. He much more majors. God tends to major on the pride things as well. He's not doesn't seem to so pick up on some of these things that our churches pick up on. He says the things that cause division or cause judgmentalism and bad attitudes amongst a body that's meant to be one. You see a lot of this sort of unity thing, where that's being broken down, and you're judging people because they come from a different culture or different group. And those are the things he really hammers at. And for me, one of the clinches was reading Revelation chapter 2 and 3, where he goes through 7 churches. And if you look at those 7 churches and what they're like, 5 of them have got some really serious flaws in them. Where you think now, I can imagine the various church groups, you can't have anything to do with that church. No, and then the other church will be saying the same about them. Oh no, they do this and they follow this doctrine. Or, they're all happy clappy, but you've seen what they're doing here. And you read them and you see that only 2 of them escape heavy condemnation. And only 2 of them are sort of escape it out of 7. That tells me that about 60–70% of our churches have not little problems, have fundamental, huge problems that Christ needs, that they need to hear and they need to address. And But the God I serve, I didn't become a Christian to follow church. I became a Christian I follow Christ. And the Christ I follow knows about that. He knew about it when it happened. He described it, I believe, choosing 7 because it's a type of how it will be for all time. He knows about it now, and he's still dealing with it. But he always talks to them. I had a guy talk about this, and he said if Jesus is talking to all 7 churches, we should be very careful if we decide to not talk to some of them, if Christ is talking to them. So that helped me to cope, to adjust to some of the problems we have in church, and to, I guess, strive for unity and fellowship across churches. Yeah. And to, you know, I try and warn young Christians now, because for me it can be a really major stumbling block. You go there and you expect a lot, and you get let down and judged and whatever. Weakness. Okay, I struggle with my own weakness. I really like singing that first hymn. That was lovely. I see in you. I see my weaknesses fade away, or something like that. I could give you many examples. Like early on, they were sort of massive in some way, you know, in obvious ways. Maybe I've become sort of hypocritical now, and they're kind of hidden now. But you know what? God's probably got more of a problem with my hypocrisy, because it said God opposes the proud. And then when I was stealing a car, I ended up stealing a car as a young Christian, helping do that, to my shame. And to my shame, you know, I've been judgmental and pharisaical myself, you know, in recent years. And again, I sometimes, to try and avoid addiction to the world, like when I became a Christian, I switched weed for drink. I thought, okay, weed's illegal, but drink isn't, so I can drink. So I was drinking 4 cans of cider a night, happily, you know, no problem. But and then when I wound up unconscious on my doorstep once, probably a year in after being a Christian, or 2 years after being a Christian, I realised, hang on a tick, I've probably got this is not good. My neighbours know I'm a Christian, and they found me, and I went in to try and find the key. I thought maybe they got a spare key, and in my shame in the end, I went out. Yeah, and then I thought, yeah, this is really not good. Well, my parents woke me up, you know, and they pushed me. Next morning, I was like, what do I do? My pastor says, maybe you should give alcohol up. So I did. Well, I did. It hadn't occurred to me. No, seriously, it hadn't occurred to me. So I gave it up. I gave it up for about a year, maybe more. Yeah, and on and off over the years, I've given it up for a while. But sometimes I'm not one of those people. Dear, I got myself into trouble the other day. Those of you that know will laugh in remembrance. There was a guy that said, I drink. Here, the last time he gave testimony, he said, yeah, I was drinking. I thought, the Lord does it, drinks, you know, and eats and drinks, and that was good enough for the Lord, it's good enough for me. And I was like, amen. And then, and then he said, and then the Lord moved me on, and he led me to give it up. There it is. But the Lord hasn't, no, he said, but the scriptures say, I don't have a problem with people who don't drink. And maybe I should, maybe one day I should give up drink altogether, because I still sometimes I might stray and drink too much. But John the Baptist came fasting and so on, and the Son of Man came eating and drinking, and people aren't happy with that. He said, but you weren't happy with neither. So I think there's room in Christianity for people who do drink and people who don't. So at the moment, I still do drink. I enjoyed a time having a bit of a brandy with my brother there. I'm saying this so that, because for me, some of the things you have to keep them under the carpet sometimes. You feel when you're in a church, they just don't do that. You feel, if I've enjoyed kickback with a mate for 4 hours and had a beer or four over 4 hours, you know, are they going to get vexed with me? You know, what are they going to say? And I'm saying it now because it's one of the struggles I've faced over the years, and now, and I have slipped. I have drunk too much sometimes. But they've got less over the years. So that's one thing. I'll talk about tobacco as well. We were talking about that earlier. But yeah, very exciting. I may as well say this. Expose myself, shame myself. There's no harm. I'm in to exalt Christ. It took me years to give up tobacco, quite a long time. And But every now and again I go and see my friends, and I enjoy smoking a bit of tobacco with them sometimes. It's just quite nice. But you know, when you have friends to stay with you, sometimes you end up smoking more, and then the craving sets in. And if you've had a beer, it's worse. Actually, last Friday, we're only on Sunday now, but on Friday, was it Friday or Thursday? I bought some tobacco, and for me that's not a good step. I always said, no, never buy tobacco, because then you're gone. You're like properly into it. So there I am. This is me right now. I know I'm going away on this, and I'm going on a week telling children to put their trust in Jesus Christ. However, for me this is just it's a little. I don't smoke a lot. There's 90% less carcinogens in tobacco than there is in the Tailor-Mades. I'm not here to justify it. I know I've got to move on.